Hello and welcome to this video in which I'm going to do examples of switching between fractions, decimals, and percents. We're not going to get too much into why. More, this is a video just sort of showing the skill, so hopefully you can pick up on it when you're doing some work. So let's start off with the fraction 3/8. All right, and we got to convert this to maybe a decimal or a percent for whatever reason. So when it comes to fractions, I think it's helpful to know a couple of fractions and their decimal equivalents. So 1/8 is one of those I'd put in that category. You have to commit it to memory that it is 1.25. Once you know that that is the decimal equivalent for 1/8, you can take that 0.125 and you can times it by 3 because there's 3/8. And so we're going to do that. We're timesing it by 3. And so we'll get 5, carry the 1, that becomes 6 times plus that one is 7, 3. And so now we've got 0.375 for the decimal equivalent. So 0.375. Good. And if we need to go from a decimal to a percent, we just bump the decimal over 2 spots and we're done. 37.5%. And so there's one set of equivalencies between fractions, decimals, and percents. Now again, that works out really well for something like 1/8, maybe 1/7. Some other fractions, though, it can be a little easier just to convert them over to decimals and percentages. Let me show you. Let's say we had something like 9/20. Now what's interesting about this is that number 20. And the reason why I like the number 20 is that it is a factor of 100. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this fraction as hundredths. And the way that works is I ask myself, how did I get from, or how can I get from 20 to 100? It's simple. Just times by 5. So I'm going to take this 9, times it by 5 as well, and when that happens, I get 45. And now if I have a fraction with the denominator of 100, first of all, it's super easy to get the decimal. You move the decimal over 2 spots to the left, so boom, boom, 0.45. And by definition, this right here is the percentage, 45%. And so now I have yet another set of equivalencies between fractions, decimals, and percents. But now, what if we have to work with something, that's maybe not a fraction? We start off with a decimal, and we need to get the other stuff. So let's start off with a decimal like 0.48. Okay? And let's make a fraction out of that. So, well, actually, first of all, let's make a percentage because percentages are super easy. You bump the decimal over 2 spots. Done. So, 48%. That was a piece of cake. The fraction might be a little more work. So, what I'm going to do is just take my 48. I'm going to put it over 100. And the reason why I'm doing 100 is that there are 2 zeros because there's 2 spots after the decimal. Now I need to work on reducing my fraction. I know that 48 and 100 are both multiples of 4. And so if I take a 4 out of them, I end up getting 12 over 25. Do another check. See if there's anything that comes out of 12 and 25. There isn't. And so now I have my fraction, decimal, percent equivalencies again. Now let's do one more of a decimal. One that's maybe a little bit easier. Or easier or harder, depending on how you want to look at it. So let's say we have 0.051. And we want to get an equivalent decimal and fraction or fraction and percentage from this. Again, percentage, super easy, 51%. You just bumped it over 2 spots. But the decimal, or to go to a fraction, could seem difficult, but actually it's pretty easy. We just start off by putting it over 100, see if we can reduce it, but we can't, and so we're done. Box it, walk away. And there we go. And so the process is very similar for converting a percentage to a decimal. You just start off with something like, let's say we had 11%. You just got to work your way to making a decimal, 0.11. And then, like we did before, take this 0.11, make it a fraction, put it over 100. If it reduces, it does. If it doesn't, you're done. And that's it.